Hello and welcome to Henry Miller's Movie Reviews, and this month, considering it's June, it is Pride Month, so I'm going to be doing a Pride season on the channel, which is going to be an annual thing from now on. I've got my special rainbow football jersey. As a result, I think this is like Guadalajara FC or whatever. Anyway, I've got COVID, so I don't know if this review is going to be any good. I'll see how I fare. My brain is a bit jumbled up at the moment, but we'll see how it goes. So for the remainder of the month, I'm going to be covering films in the LGBTQ plus sphere across the world. So that's going to be fun, isn't it? And today, we're going to India to discover a 2019 film. I don't think I've covered a film so recent on my channel before, but the Tamil film Super Deluxe. I just had a look a few minutes ago and I didn't realise it's 3 hours. Why do all the films from India have to be so long? Apart from Malayalam, in Kerala, they have the films at a reasonable length, but it's just everywhere else it's like, maybe the Bengali films are reasonably lengthed as well. Oh my god, anyway, it stars Fahad Fasil, who is one of my absolute favourite actors at the moment. He's been in loads of Malayalam language films and he's always excellent. So he had a really great film out last year called Joji. Check it out, it's excellent. Let's go. Well, whatever I thought I was going to watch, this certainly wasn't it. This was just bizarre. So we follow 3 stories, or arguably 4, which follow what I thought the film was going to be about, a trans woman, along with a couple who have to dispose of a corpse who died while having sex with the woman in the relationship and is then blackmailed by a police officer. There's also a group of teenage boys who get caught up with the mob in order to pay to fix a television, and a friend of theirs who, after watching what he thinks is his mother in an adult film, breaks said television, attempts to murder her for an honour killing, but then ends up tripping and impaling himself, thus needing to go to a hospital. What a charmer. This film's utterly bonkers, but I'm glad I didn't read about it before going into it, as it was a nice surprise. It does utilise a multiple story arc narrative reasonably well, though some of the plot elements I wasn't too crazy about particularly. So most of the attention should really go to the trans narrative, given this is Pride Month and the whole reason I'm reviewing the film in the first place. This may be the best story in the film, if only for the relationship between the trans character Shilpa and her adorable son Raskuti. He's an utter delight. It's really lovely how supportive he is of his dad, and when one of the pupils at his school doesn't believe that he has a dad, calling him a test tube baby, which is never not funny, even though it's kind of a shame. And upon seeing his dad, they mock her and ask Raskuti, "Why does your dad dress like a mum?" And he retorts, "Well, why can't dads dress like mums?" He's so precious. He also does this really adorable thing where when someone knocks on the door, he opens it going, it's so sweet. It was interesting seeing how an Indian film would treat a trans character, and honestly, I didn't find the portrayal to be that problematic at all. I mean, obviously Shilpa is played by a cis man, but given how retrograde the society's attitude is in India towards the LGBT community and just women, I wouldn't be surprised if there just was not enough out trans actors who would have been able to portray this role. I mean, I may be completely wrong. I don't know what the situation is with trans actors in India, but particularly Tamil speaking. Vijay Sethupathi does a good job portraying Shilpa and gives her a lot of dignity when this could have easily made her the butt of the joke or just a source of derision. You do see a lot of transphobia in the film, but I didn't feel like any of it was coming from the writers. It felt like this is just a portrayal of the ignorance in society. You know, there's a scene where she's at her son's school and the staff refer to her as it and won't allow her into the building, which is horrid, obviously. There's also a moment where Shilpa is sexually assaulted by a police sergeant, and it wasn't really until after I realised that he didn't know that she was trans. He didn't do it because he thought she was just easy and could take advantage of her as a trans woman, which was where I thought that it was going, because obviously that's a real world problem for a lot of trans women. But no, he seemed to think she was a cis woman. So just standard piece of shit man in power stuff there. There is a lot of discussion in this film about misogyny and sexism, which is really part of all the stories, I guess. And that also leans us into the second best of the stories, with the man of the hour, Fahad Fasil, who doesn't even show up until nearly 30 minutes into the film, but his story is rather intriguing. He comes home to his wife and finds a corpse in the fridge. Fuck! She tells him she cheated on him with her college sweetheart and he died during the act. And as a result, they go to dispose of the body, but while doing that, Fasil's character is overcome with humiliation and sadness at this betrayal and calls his wife every name under the sun, and in one funny scene pretends to be drunk as a therapy exercise to help him get out all his feelings about emasculation more than anything, really. He's not a great person. The character, I mean. Though I know this is very possibly how people would act in a situation like this, I still don't know why the wife, Vainbu, didn't just call an ambulance instead of hiding the body, since she didn't do anything wrong. She didn't kill him. He died of, well, I suppose you could call it natural causes, but tampering with a corpse, I'm pretty sure that's a criminal offence. I guess in a situation like this, people wouldn't think that rationally, maybe. And it gets them even more in the shit when a police officer catches them trying to dispose of the body and then blackmails them in a really grotty fucking way. I found that moment really hard to sit through. But then we have the plot strand that I wasn't too crazy about, though had its moments with the teenage boys. Also, something that I see in Tamil films which annoys me is people crying unrealistically, which I just find aggravating to watch. Also, why is everything dubbed? Like, the entire dialogue is ADR. Was there just no audio that was usable? Because this isn't a problem with films from Kerala, that I've seen at least. They seem to use the audio from the scene that was originally shot. But the scene where they attempt to procure adult material in a video shop is pretty funny. It's also not every day that you hear Mia Malkova and Mia Khalifa name-checked in a film, along with Sonny Leone, although she's now a film star in her own right. Good for her. I read that each story was conceived and written by different writers, including the director himself, and they didn't show any of the work to each other, which kind of explains why each section feels stylistically a little disjointed. I think perhaps limiting the third story could have made it tighter and also reduced the runtime, which is a little overkill. It's 3 hours. Though it was interesting how many Star Wars references there were, with 2 great jokes in particular. The score is excellent and the cinematography is too. I mean, the framing is just utterly gorgeous. The film has some really beautiful, bold colour schemes that are just used throughout. And the transitional edits are pretty well done. I mean, it's certainly the best made Indian film that I've covered on this channel for sure, and maybe the best Tamil film that I've ever seen. Though I do also really like Sapata Parambarai. If you're into boxing films, check that one out, it's terrific. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. I'm really glad that I finally saw this, even if it's not as LGBT themed as I thought that it would be. But it's a wild ride, and I just also realised I haven't spoken about the alien that just shows up in the middle of the film. But yeah, that happens. I guess with the Star Wars references, it shouldn't be too surprising, but it still was, and it comes out of nowhere. So those are my thoughts on Super Deluxe. I had a ball with this. I thought it was pretty funny. Fuck. I'm looking forward to covering more Indian films on my channel in future. If you like the video, then leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. You can also follow me on Letterboxd, and I've got more videos coming your way. Thanks for watching, and have a lovely day. Bye 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 bye. Ding dong.